Wow, there we go. Good morning for everybody tuning in.
My
Obviously, this
face
is
was so much bigger than I expected in that moment.
not our normal job. You are tuned into Coffee Breaks with Steve. We are not Steve. But today's episode is hopefully going to be a fun and interesting one with your guest host. I'm Carissa.
I'm Shalane.
She is. And hopefully you've got your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, your cup of milk, whatever it is you like to drink. It is time to put on the brakes and join in the conversation with Coffee Breaks with Steve.
We have to take the obligatory sip.
The obligatory sip. Welcome. My name is Carissa, as we already said. This is Shalane. Where is Steve?
I don't know. Did you find out?
He never responded to me, and I don't blame him.
Last we heard, he was in Amsterdam, but we kicked him out of the country. That's the important part.
He was at the airport, and then I actually did speak to him a couple of times via video call this morning, but I failed to verify where exactly he was. I do know he was at an outdoor cafe, but for anybody who does not know, our founder of the show and typical host, Steve, is out of the country for the next 3 episodes.
Because we kicked him out.
We booted him. He and his siblings are traveling in Europe, and they're I'm not going to actually give away where their destinations are. I know that he maybe mentioned it, but I don't know if he's planning on playing trivia. Sometimes
he does often play trivia.
Yeah, sometimes when he travels, he likes to play travel trivia with his Facebook. So I'm not going to give away where he's at, but they are in Europe. As of this morning, I think they officially arrived in Europe. That's yes.
I'm finding with an ice cream tray. I feel like Dad is having more adventures right now than I.
Probably. I mean, I know he's having coffee somewhere. Typically, I run the role of director, and Shalane is an admin on the show as well. And
I produce, which usually means I sit there and monitor the comments and say hi to everyone when they come in. And
tell
then
us how to drink.
I tell you all to drink when Steve drinks. That's my job.
Yes. I am sans coffee today because this is our first time running Coffee Breaks with Steve without Steve. We've been guests before. We've been co-hosts before, but we've never been.
You 90% know how this goes because I've never run the tech.
This is why I was calling Steve today in Europe on his vacation to be like, help, what do we do? So hopefully everybody was able to find the link. Hopefully we did it right today. But I'm really hoping it'll be a fun episode today. I'm want to say a quick hello to people in the chat. I know that we've got Jerry here. Good morning, Jerry.
I'm seeing some people.
And it looks like I think Steve is on the chat. If you are in the chat room or you're seeing the chats, everybody say hi, Steve. So yes, he's giving it away. He's in Croatia, so it's fair to say he is in Croatia. Now it's really cool because the reason that the siblings want to go to Croatia, Steve and our mom Carol have been there. But the siblings had not had a chance to go, and their father, our grandpa Frank, is from there.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Janny. Continue.
Oh, hi, Janny. Okay, Janny's here. Okay, so we're starting to see some new faces in the chat room, which will be pertinent to the topic of the conversation today. So good morning, Janny. Janny's a new face in the chat room today. And obviously, it sounds like it. I imagine that Scott and Carla are probably at least hearing a little bit from Steve as we go through this because they're with him. I know Cassie and Rod were supposed to meet them. They were checking into the hotel. So
yes. Okay.
Yes. Claudia and Allison are also both here, also pertinent to our topic today. I'm so glad that we're seeing some of you in the chat room today. So definitely join in the conversation as much as you can. If you want to invite other people to the episode, let them know that we're doing this today. Before we get going, though, we didn't have any birthdays to announce this week, which is really good because I don't have a slide for it. So there you go. Well done, us. But there are a couple of things happening this weekend. So obviously we have Easter this weekend for anybody who celebrates it. That's you. What? What do you
I was just, I celebrate Easter, and I was counting off.
You do. In fact, do your cats celebrate?
I'm counting the things.
Me, I celebrate. Do your cats celebrate? Like, I have a student who they're doing an Easter egg hunt at his house, and they're getting special eggs with doggy treats in them for his new doggy. So I don't know. Do you do anything with baskets for your cat?
What I would love to do is put like bunny ears on my cats.
How would they
get murdered?
Yeah, they'll kill you. We put Buddy in a chicken
cats?
costume last year. I put Buddy in a baby chick costume last year. That's probably the only time he's been unhappy with me, besides bath time. So
good.
But I did it anyway. So we have Easter for anybody who is. Oh, hi, Rick. Rick is here. Good morning, Rick.
Morning, Rick.
Definitely join in the conversation for those of you who are just joining. So we've got Easter for if you celebrate Easter. I hope that you have a fun, safe, relaxing, hopefully Easter. I know a lot of people do various activities on both Saturdays and Sundays for Easter. My youngest daughter, little dear Carson, is with her father at the Easter egg hunt because naughty me, I didn't think about my scheduling when we planned on this.
So Carson Jean leans into the frame. She does one of, I'm not sure if I can. Hi, Auntie, I'm going to the Easter egg hunt. Bye.
She's just out.
Okay. Bye.
So we have our big citywide Easter egg hunt today. And then, a lot of people go to church tomorrow. We're going to church tomorrow. Jason wanted to go see a movie tomorrow. And I said,
is it an Easter movie?
It's Easter. It was not an Easter movie. It's not at all an Easter movie.
Okay.
But yeah.
I don't want to know. I want to wonder for the rest of my life.
I don't even remember what it was. It's a new movie. I just know that. Are you guys doing anything? Do you have any? Are you going to go crash an Easter egg hunt?
Today we're going kind of. Today we're going to my in-laws, and they're just up the road from us. But they have this little cottagey house on quite a bit of, and so we do an Easter egg hunt for the littles.
Aww.
And it's very funny because sometimes the littles are getting bigger, and to see the teens and preteens trying to find eggs, and they're just missing them, and it's right there. Is my favorite thing. I don't usually have Schadenfreude, but that makes me very happy.
We did an Easter egg hunt at my preschool yesterday for the big kids. So we have 2 big kid classes. It's 2.5-year-old to 5-year-old kids. And then it's spring break this week. So one of the 6-year-olds who was there last year was with us for spring break yesterday. And because of the rain, we had to hide all the eggs in one classroom for 35 kids. So we got to a point where there was so many
everywhere.
They were literally they hit them really good. We were still finding a couple on
the table.
But they were literally at the point where they had just dumped eggs on the floor in the middle of the classroom because we didn't have room to hide them all. So that was really good for the 2-year-olds. And then we staggered them by age and stuff. So that's going on. Okay. Monday is April Fool's Day.
I just realized I'm really glad that April Fool's doesn't happen to land on Easter or vice versa. Easter on April Fool's. Because then it brings up a lot of theological questions, which I won't get into.
Okay, wait, before we get into this. So no, Allison, we were not going to go see Dune because we actually I've already seen Dune with Jason's boss, actually. I honestly don't remember. It was a new one. My brain has gone blank. I don't remember what. It's a new movie.
I don't know what to tell you. They didn't pay for advertising on here.
I know, they don't get it. They want to advertise. But no, it wasn't Dune. And then Steve says, do you want to know something interesting? Of course you do.
Yes.
In most of Europe, including Croatia, daylight savings time starts at 2 a.m. the last Sunday in March. So after traveling overnight and dealing with jet lag, we lose an hour of sleep tonight. Of course you do. That's brilliant. Well planned. You guys planned
And that. I'm sorry, but also.
But that's... I love it. So April Fool's, really quickly, because I want to get to the topic. I know Shalane wants to get to the topic, but I do want to share. We were talking about, this is our sweet and savory, by the way, because we also don't have a slide.
There's no charcuterie picture.
No charcuterie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would have planned better for it if I had known that we were having tech difficulties this morning. But sweet and savory is April Fool's Day, which is on Monday. And Shalane didn't remember this at first. I had to bring it up. But I wanted to share my favorite April Fool's joke that Steve has ever played. This one has stuck with me. So back before there was touchscreen technology, Bluetooth technology, I mean, computers barely fit in one room at this point. Before there was voice activated technology, Steve worked in an insurance company office, and his cubicle was not far from where the copy room was in, with big industrial copy machines, right? So our father, being our father, prints up a very official looking.
I wonder if he came up with this idea.
I think he did, because at the time you really didn't have internet.
Early 90s.
Yeah, you didn't really have internet to like look up ideas. You couldn't go to Pinterest and say, give me a good, So I'm pretty sure some of these really good ones he came up with his own. But he printed out this sign and he posted it. He puts it right on like the button pad for this copy machine, and it says that they've upgraded their copy machine and it can now be voice activated, and it had the instructions on how to operate this new copy machine. And he literally sat there all day long while all of his coworkers came into this copy room trying to voice activate this stupid copy machine. And it wasn't even technology that they had. And he just sat back and enjoyed his work. Copy 10 copies, front and back. Holy
no.
With staples. I can't imagine. Actually, I can. I can imagine kind of this activity over the top of the cubicle happening, and then just kind of like, every time somebody goes to the copy room, we just, I very much picture your part in your film.
In all sorts?
In all sorts, where you were just kind of like,
serial killer mode.
Yeah, that's what he was doing with and then he would just, so that's our sweet and savory. Shalane had this brilliant idea that we bring on the guests in a special way, but I think I've wasted a lot of time. So maybe
wait, so duck out and then. So I have a special guest today.
No, I went the wrong way. I don't know how to do that.
The other way. We have a special guest today, and she's going to be talking about a subject that is incredibly passionate to her and that I have not really delved into. So I'm really interested to hear about this from her perspective, because I've kind of seen the outskirts and seen updates and things, but I feel like I know very little. So I'm excited to talk about this, and I hope that this is going to be a new experience for you as well, because I feel like what she has to talk about is not very well known, getting better well known, but not very well known yet. So join us. I'd like to introduce Carissa Lynn Wheelock. Carissa, if you're in the chat, welcome.
Thank you for having me today. Thank you for being here today.
Okay, so we have Carissa here specifically to talk about, I'm not going to say his name right.
I want you to try. Some people think they're going to get it wrong, and they actually do very well.
Dimash Qudaibergen?
That's pretty close. It's Qudaibergen.
Qudaibergen. Dimash Qudaibergen.
Yes, Qudaibergen. So you might see it spelled with a K, but he adopted the Q because
his name as spelled in the chat.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's his official.
That's his name.
Yes. Yeah. So we're talking about Dimash today.
So tell me, who is Dimash?
Yes.
Who is Dimash Qudaibergen? Tell me about him.
There you go. You got it. Okay. So Dimash is a 29-year-old performer from Kazakhstan. And I say performer, I hope you'll understand why I don't say singer as we go through this. And I do want to point out, I am working from notes today because there's a lot of really great information to share with all of you, and I don't want to forget any of it. So if you see me kind of glancing, that would be why. But he's 29. He'll actually be turning 30 in May, on May 24th. But he's been training in music since the age of 5. And currently, he actually holds 2 bachelor degrees in vocal music. His focuses for that are bel canto and contemporary music. So he has a degree.
Another one of those people that make me feel like I haven't done anything with my life.
I know.
Go on.
He shames us in a good way.
Yeah.
He also does hold a master's degree in music composition, and he is in the process of completing his PhD in musicology. So
Goodness.
that just kind of gives you an idea of his education. But I know that what most people first like to talk about is his vocal range. It is one of the things that sets him apart, one of the many things. So typically, if you just kind of look it up, he's generally labeled as a neoclassical crossover artist, but honestly, he excels in all genres. And because of that, I mean, he has covered pop, folk, rock, rap, classical, opera. I mean, literally, if you can think of a genre, there's very few that he hasn't touched on yet. But because of that, he actually has remained an entirely independent artist all the way through his career, despite the fact that, a lot of people have suggested that he signed with a label. He's remained independent partly because he doesn't want to be confined to any one style or genre.
Right.
So remaining independent has allowed him to have that control and explore all different types of music, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He does have a vocal range that I would say defies description. He actually prefers not to put much emphasis on
And
that.
I just want to put this out there, even though I know that he doesn't want to put
Sure.
I thought Mariah Carey, I thought her range was incredible, and it is.
It is.
Not to say hers isn't.
Yeah, can't knock it. She's that range.
His floored me that was even humanly possible. So, as a reference, he has done what I remember seeing and going, oh my gosh, he did a live rendition of that song from The Fifth Element, the opera song.
Mm-hmm.
And
the diva
we
dance.
can hit all of that out. So it's worth seeing. If you haven't seen it, I don't know that we can show anything here because copyright, etc. But if you haven't seen his go find after this some of what he does, because it's
highly recommend.
It's real different. It's I've never seen a human do a
That's
lot
a good way to describe it. It's real different.
It's real different.
Yeah, he doesn't like to talk about it much. Like, people will ask him, pretty much any interview you see with him, people will ask him about what is your range, because it is highly unique. I'm not aware of any other artist that has the range that he does, and he will really turn the commentary around to something else. So I'll simply say it is one of the first things that people do tend to notice about his performances. So yeah, but on top of the singing, on top of that, he's a multi-instrumentalist. He is a composer, a director and actor. He produces super high quality music videos. They're fantastic. He's won multiple singing competitions in his region. As I mentioned, he's from Kazakhstan. So he won a lot of competitions coming up in Kazakhstan. And it's really been kind of a lifelong dream of his. I should say it has been a lifelong dream of his to be an ambassador for his country.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's he puts a lot of that into his work, which is one of, again, another fantastic thing about him.
And his country is Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan. It is actually situated pretty much directly between Russia and China. It's part of the Silk Road. And it actually, fun fact for you, it is the largest landlocked country in the world. And yet a lot of people have never heard of it. So, bringing his country and putting it in front of other people and bringing his culture to other people who literally have never heard about it is a big passion for him. And that's another great thing about him. But what happened is that he actually gained international exposure outside of Kazakhstan and started his worldwide career in 2017 when he was 22. He appeared on a singing competition show, really well-known one in China called The Singer. And that was actually broadcast onto YouTube. And that was our first exposure to everybody else outside of Kazakhstan of Dimash and his capabilities. And then outside of his performance abilities, there's some things I mentioned, wanting to be an ambassador for his country and his culture. He takes a lot of pride in. He's also a humanitarian, and he's really peace driven. And a lot of his work, even outside of music, a lot of his other projects are focused on that goal of finding ways to bring more peace to the world and bring those humanitarian values through his art. He has also been on the Kazakhstan 30 under 30 Forbes list multiple times.
Do they have a different one for each country?
They actually do. I wasn't aware of this, but I know for major countries, I don't know if it's like for every single country, but for a lot of countries, it's different ones. So like China,
okay.
I think France has their own and things like that. So, but he's been on the Kazakhstan one multiple times.
Okay.
And then he's also had the opportunity to meet one-on-one with various world leaders as an ambassador for peace. He's definitely a role model for people of all ages, backgrounds, very family oriented. So that kind of gives you an overview of who Dimash is as a person.
Okay. Well, so you're coming on here today as a kind of representing the Dimash Fan Club. And this is a piece I feel like I've seen you posting about. I've seen the various promotions, and I've never been part of a fan club. So I feel like it's a totally foreign world to me. So what is the Dimash USA Fan Club? Right?
Yes,
It's Dimash
yes.
USA. What's the Dimash USA Fan Club?
Dimash USA Fan Club. There are fan clubs around the world. So we do like to specify that we are the Dimash USA Fan Club. And it was actually started in 2017 when the founder of the club saw Dimash's first performance on the show Singer. And it deeply impacted her, as is the case with a lot of people who are fans of Dimash. And when she saw it, she was really driven to find a way to help other people here in the United States connect over this incredible music and show him support. How could we support him here when, he's doing things over there? Right. So that's how we kind of came about. And we are the first fan club developed in the United States to promote Dimash. So that's
nice to be the first. It feels like there's nothing new under the sun, but to be able to be like, no, this is a new thing that we're able to kind of bring forward. That's really awesome.
It kind of goes along with you saying, I don't know anything about fan clubs. Well, when this all started, the founder didn't either. And it just kind of developed through a lot of hard work. So here we are. So we're 7 years later now. We just celebrated our 7th anniversary. Back, I want to say January. I'm sorry.
2017 feels, I was going to be like, oh, it's just a baby. No, 2017 was 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's still a baby. I mean, you think about it, you think about a new company. I mean, 7 years is nothing. So when there's so many new things happening with an artist and you're constantly developing, we are still growing, constantly growing, looking to expand here in the United States. But one of the really cool facts is that the Dimash USA Fan Club has had some sort of presence at every live performance that Dimash has done since his first solo concert here in the States. Since his first solo concert in 2017. So he went on to the Singer, and then he actually followed that up with some solo concerts, and he began that solo concert career. And we've had a presence at every live performance since that point.
In the USA or in the world?
In the USA, but also, people have traveled to...
Well, Allison put in the comments, I traveled to Malaysia to hear Dimash in concert. Dimash Deers are around the world. Allison, I'm curious, are you USA based? Because
She's in Oregon. She's one of the Oregon chapter members.
Oh, okay. Yes. Wow.
I want to see really quickly here. I'm just going to I have my notes covering the chat, so hopefully I don't actually close this out. But I want to see here if I know that we have a couple of Oregon members. We have Janny here. Janny, I'm going to butcher this. Are you in New Mexico? I have made so many friends and met so many amazing people through the Dimash USA Fan Club, but sometimes I forget where they're based out of.
I once forgot my own date's name while on the date, so I think you're good.
Claudia, you're in California, correct? I believe she's in California. So yeah, so we do have chapters in many, many states, and we'll get into that a little bit. But yes, we've had a presence in the United States, but also at those live performances since his first solo concert. And then he actually did hold a solo concert here in 2019, right before COVID hit, in New York. And the Dimash USA Fan Club actually hosted the pre-party for that. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that concert brought to the table, but they were able to host a lot of fans from all over the world and the country for that pre-party. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, obviously we have some missions and purposes, obviously, to support and promote Dimash's music and his own initiatives, his own passions and projects that he wants us as his fans to also help him promote and get out to the rest of the world. We use social media a lot to do that here in the United States. And then to continue to develop our chapters in all of the states in order to promote him locally in our own areas, as well as get him more exposure through the country as an artist. We do a lot of showing our appreciation for Dimash. We do that by actually giving back to our communities. So we do community service, education initiatives, and those are actually organized by the members in the chapters. So sometimes we'll do it, in our own chapter at a state level, and sometimes we get together as a national fan club and do large projects and initiatives together, which is really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, we really want to build a community. Our founders, one of the things that drove her when she started this was, how do I bring other people together to connect over this and give them a platform to interact with each other over this amazing artist that we've discovered. So building that community, the unity, and supporting our members and connecting to each other locally and nationally is a big drive for us as well. And we have a lot of people. I do want to point this out. The Dimash USA Fan Club, all of our members are volunteer from the very bottom.
That was going to be one of my questions.
There is not a single person involved in leadership or otherwise who gets paid for what we do. So I'm talking about this, keep in mind, this is all just because we love Dimash.
Yeah, I was like, I can't imagine the amount of work it must take to coordinate all of that and not get paid. But I was thinking the only thing that I would do unpaid is acting. So I just have to equate my passion for acting is equivalent to your passion for Dimash Fan Club, Dimash in general. So, okay.
And we actually have kind of teams that we've built into the structure of the Dimash USA Fan Club to make sure that we're supporting everybody involved. We do have a lot of members all over the country, and that continues to grow as well, which we're very excited about. But I do want to point out a couple of the key teams because some of these people put in a lot of energy and time, and some of them have been doing it since pretty much the beginning. So we do have an admin team. I want to take a second here and thank the admin team. You know who you are. We have a couple of very select individuals who work directly with the founder to really, and they're working on this every day. I mean, they're working their full-time jobs and having their families and doing everything else that's required of them, and then working very hard every day to keep the Dimash USA Fan Club running like a well-oiled machine. And, we're constantly throwing ideas and projects at them that they're having to sort through. So we appreciate all of you on the admin team who put in so much time and energy. It's pretty great. We do have a moderator team that helps out with our Facebook page, which is the primary way, the number one way to connect to the Dimash USA Fan Club. That's where all of our information goes, and then it's dispersed out to the chapters. So we have the moderators that help with that, and that's a pretty taxing job as well. There's a lot that goes into that. We have the radio play team. We have a content team for our social media and our YouTube.
What does the radio play team? I don't okay, are we going to talk more about the radio play?
It's coming up. I'll wait. I know you're very curious about radio play team. And there are members in the chat room who have been involved in some of that as it's developed. So they'll be happy to share information in the chat as well. We have the state chapter leaders and then the leadership team attached to attached to those. So we really like to have a really strong leadership team in our states to make sure that we can really get local groups involved. And so we have the leadership teams that work with the state leaders to help manage all that. And we actually have a translation team, which I think is fantastic. So one of the other things that I did not mention about Dimash is that Dimash, he actually speaks several languages. In Kazakhstan, the native tongues are Kazakh and Russian, because Russia had a very large presence there for a long time. All Kazakhs speak Russian. So those are his two native languages. And then, he rose to international fame in China. So since that point, he has been working on Mandarin. Not an easy language, but he continues to improve in it. And of course, English, he has been working on his. I think his English is beautiful. I love his accent. He's a very well-spoken individual in any language. But on top of that, this man sings in way more languages than that. So we have a translation team that currently has his songs translated into 6 different languages for fans who maybe do not speak or understand the language of whatever song he's singing. So we have those teams all in there.
Yeah. Okay. So explain. So all these different coordination pieces, but if I were to come into the fan club as just a member, right, not in leadership, just showing up, drinking the coffee, etc. What does it mean? What does it mean to be in a fan club? What are the benefits? I don't say that like there's downside, but what does that get you?
So being a member of the Dimash USA Fan Club, as far as we see it, means that we are representatives of Dimash, not just here in the United States, but because we use the social media globally. We really take that on to ourselves as making sure that we are representing him in a positive light. And we do things like we'll do special initiatives and projects for special dates. We've done them for his birthday. We've done them for concerts. We've done them for anniversaries of special events like his first concert or the release of a song. We'll celebrate anniversaries for that. So we do those. We do them sometimes at a national level, and sometimes we'll do it at a chapter level. And then we're really given the opportunity to kind of, through the Dimash USA Fan Club, we can work together to promote Dimash and spread awareness of his music and his other projects like those humanitarian works in a way that exemplifies his personal values. So you get a lot of support in that. We basically have the honor of giving directly back to Dimash through that support. And in that, you're gaining that community, that camaraderie, that feeling of enjoyment, of giving back as a part of a larger group. But all these people that you're participating with, they all share the same values and interests as you. I think as an adult, that can be hard to find.
Yeah.
So that's a huge benefit to a lot of our members. And then we get to actively practice our own humanitarian values by participating in those initiatives, not just that we come up with as members, but there are initiatives that Dimash has in the past asked us to take action on. And so we get to come together as a group. I think one of the really valuable things about the Dimash USA Fan Club, one of Dimash's values is that he wants all people to be able to come together, to not be split up by barriers of any kind. So we as a fan club aren't divided by cultural difference, language difference, politics, religion, the hot topics. We are a religion and politics free zone. We are here for one purpose, and that is to celebrate and share our love for Dimash. So that's what it means to be involved. It's pretty great.
Okay. A lot of thoughts, but I know
there's a lot.
So I know we want to focus on Dimash, but I am very curious because I'm your sister.
You have curiosity.
What's your current role in the fan club?
Yeah.
And then if I can stack a question, what is it? What do you do? What do you do?
Tell me what you do. Who is your daddy?
What is it that you do?
So I actually currently am carrying a dual role within the Dimash USA Fan Club. So I became the Oregon State chapter leader in June of 2023. And then most recently, I actually agreed to assume the role of the director for the radio play team. And I know you're so curious.
Okay. Yes.
So, the goal of the state chapters really aligns with the overall mission of the overall club. So we promote Dimash and his music in our state. We keep connected with the members, but we also strive to provide that goodwill to the communities that we're serving. We do those charitable acts and community education initiatives and things, while the focus of the radio play team is more naturally promotion. And basically, the radio play team is actively developing a grassroots movement to get Dimash's music played on community, alternative, and internet radio stations based here in the United States.
And I'm so curious, because how does that work? Because I feel like there aren't that many radio shows anymore where you can just call up and be like, can we request this song? So how does that even go?
It is a labor of love. So what happens is that members of the Dimash USA Fan Club actually volunteer their time to connect with and communicate with stations and regularly tune into the programs that are either actively playing him or that we've been, have played him in the past and we're trying to get more airtime. And then ones where we would like to hear his songs played in. There are some of the radio stations, not a lot, but there are some that use chat rooms as well. So we'll tune in and we'll engage in the chat room in order to connect with the DJs and establish relationships with them, as well as their listeners. We have a lot of people in those chat rooms who are regular listeners on those shows, and they'll come into the chat room, and it's a really good opportunity to connect. So it's a labor of love. There's a lot of research involved, but it's a lot of fun, which is why I agreed to kind of take on that position. So
okay.
And then, obviously the state chapters, we have a wider range of goals. And throughout the nation, really our chapter members, we develop personal relationships that we cherish. We stay in touch with each other using Zoom meetings. We use messenger chats. We have in-person meetings. So typically a lot of the chapters will have like a monthly get together to communicate about what they're doing.
Statewide?
Yeah. So they'll either do, there's a couple of different ways that we do it. We'll have like a Zoom where anybody involved in the state chapter can get into the Zoom and they'll talk about, chapter business and ideas that they have and things like that. And then we'll also arrange get-togethers. So, for example, California, is a big and tall state. So they'll do things where it's like, okay, this meetup we're going to do in Northern California and this one we're going to do in Central. So they'll kind of get together and figure out what works best for all of the members. And it's really, really great. During those meetings, we like to have fun. We really do love to have fun. We'll share Dimash's music. Sometimes we'll play Dimash trivia games. You know how that goes. Dad likes trivia, so he'll come up with. So, we use a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, we like to do that kind of stuff too. So we celebrate his birthdays. We'll celebrate holidays that Dimash himself would celebrate, things that are maybe specific to Kazakhstan or the region. We like to, again, help him spread the awareness of that culture. And so we'll do activities surrounding that. And this has been brought up in the chat, many of our club members travel internationally to attend Dimash's solo concerts and performances. And what we'll do is they'll often get together. We'll have special chats or Zoom meetings set up so that they can communicate and get together on even arranging meetups with each other. And a lot of times they'll share their experiences with the members who weren't able to go. I actually think it's really cool that one of the things that the Dimash USA Fan Club does when there's any kind of international thing going on, whether we have international members coming here or our members are going abroad, which is usually how it happens, they'll organize a get together around those concerts for those international travelers so that they have a common place.
I saw a comment in the chat about this.
Yes. They'll have a common place to kind of get together, communicate, make plans. And it's just always a really great time. I've heard some fantastic stories coming out of these get-togethers and meetups of people going to the concerts. So it's always a good time. we do, one of the things that I really want to have an opportunity to do myself, we really love it when Dimash comes to the United States and we can support him in person. So as a fan club, we've been able to meet him at the airport several times, coming in and going out of New York, Los Angeles, and Vegas. Okay. And then our California chapter members actually were joined by the Arizona chapter members who traveled all the way over to California for his arrival in Los Angeles and then back to Las Vegas. So they joined each other at those.
That's cool.
Yeah, at those meetings. And we'll do that, you know, where the chapters will be like, hey, we're all going to go to this thing. Let's coordinate. We're always within the chapters trying to raise awareness of Dimash's name, and we can get pretty creative. So just an idea of some of the things that we have done as the Dimash USA Fan Club. So this one was really fun to watch. We got to see this on YouTube when they posted about it. So when the Dimash USA Fan Club flew a Dimash aerial banner by plane along the California coastline at the Santa Monica Pier, our California chapter members were there. They saw it in person. It was delightful.
That's really cool.
He actually heard about it.
No one put my name on a plane.
I know, right? Shalane was here flying across the coastline.
Shalane has been here.
But if you're wondering if Dimash does ever actually hear about anything that his fans are doing, he did repost the video of the aerial banner being flown on his Instagram. So he does see, and he very much appreciates when he hears about what his fans are doing for him. So that was one really, really fun project, I think. If you live in or around the Texas state, you're probably going to see Dimash's image driving by on the highway. Definitely honk, give her a wave. That would be our Texas state chapter leader on one of her Dimash tours in her special van. She has the whole back windows covered in Dimash. She's got stickers and things on her car. It is a lot of fun, and she loves she'll go to even drive it to different states.
Where's Waldo?
It is. It's like, where is Hannah today? But yeah, she'll let us know. When she's going on a Dimash tour, she'll keep us posted on the stops she's made, different people that she's encountered along the way and introduced to Dimash with her van and by giving them information. And it's a lot of fun. And we're really proud of the charitable acts that we have the privilege to do on behalf of Dimash and in his name. So coast to coast, I mean, we're always looking for ways to kind of pay that forward from him. So one of the things that Dimash has done is he is a global ambassador for Project Cure. They're an organization that delivers medical supplies to multiple developing countries around the world. And in addition to some financial donations, which were made by club members individually, the Texas state chapter members have volunteered at the Houston warehouse location for Project Cure for 3 years running now. They actually have plans to volunteer again there next month. So that's an upcoming project they're doing. And then the Arizona chapter members volunteered at the Phoenix location last year, and they were very excited because some of the Texas chapter members were able to travel and join them there. So another one of those great collaborations that's just a lot of fun when we get together, and we always appreciate that.
And I will say, I have more things I wanted to ask you about. I know we're running short on time, but I do want to hear the rest of the charitable components, especially that the fan club gets. I'll
kind of go through them a little bit quickly because I know there are a couple of things that you did want to discuss. So
no, don't rush. You and I will talk offline.
We can go over, and anybody who wants to stay can stay, and anybody who doesn't can leave. But you'll want to stay. So Dimash is a member of a pet rescue initiative. So the Texas chapter members have volunteered and donated supplies to organizations like the SPCA of Dallas, and the New Jersey chapter members have donated supplies to their local dog shelters. Dimash has a really big heart, and he loves everybody. So he'll do things like giving up his seat for someone who is more senior to him, and he visits the ill, and he has a really big soft spot for children. It's watching him with kids is a lot of fun. So on that note, our Texas chapter members have made greeting cards for kids for the Children's Hospital in Dallas. Our North Carolina members have made homemade greeting cards to deliver to seniors living in senior residences with, Dimash Dimash promotional materials and things like that, just so that they know someone's thinking about them. Our New Jersey chapter members have also donated to children's charities. The Oregon chapter members last year participated in the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk to raise money for breast cancer research and treatment. And then here in Oregon, we're also currently in the midst of a charitable donation event through an initiative called Foster Love. And it's to provide foster children with personal items that they'll receive.
Love that.
Yeah. So it's currently what we're working on here in Oregon. Dimash also participated in a really interesting project as an ambassador for the hashtag Love is Food initiative, along with Michael Kors and the United Nations. And it was a project to work on alleviating world hunger. So on that note, our New Mexico chapter members volunteered at a food storehouse in Albuquerque to assemble food boxes for those in need. The North Carolina and Oregon chapter members have all volunteered at local food banks. And the way that we see it, the way that Dimash sees it, and so we follow suit, is that we're all children. We're all on one earth under one sky, and we really need to take care of each other and our planet. Dimash has planted trees before, and so the Oregon chapter members also participated with the nonprofit Friends of Trees a couple of times to plant native trees and plants in vital greenways. So that's just
I love that too. I'm very Oregon. There is something to be said about West Side Oregonians, at least, that we are tree huggers, and I definitely fit that stereotype very well. So
we actually do hug trees. Yeah. So that's just an idea, just a really small fraction of
we need to do a follow-up on some of this stuff, because I feel like this is the glacier where we barely scratch the surface. But any last words? That sounds so bad. Any last thoughts that you want to share?
I do definitely want to talk about how people can find out more about Dimash and the Dimash USA Fan Club. So let me really quickly get to, and I will be posting really quickly here the links for these things. But the number one way to, I would say, one of the best ways to find out more about and support Dimash as an artist is first, subscribe to his official YouTube channel, also his official music channels on major streaming apps. That's all very supportive of him. And I think you'll really enjoy what you see and what you hear. I like to say that Dimash is a holistic performer. So while the voice is incredible and the music is incredible, I think it's a lot of fun to really watch him as he's doing these performances. And no two performances are the same. You can hear the same song at 15 different concerts from Dimash, and it's never the same song, because there's always something interesting and different about it. So
I do want to encourage, if you've never heard Dimash, I would love if you're into this sort of thing, if you would just even film yourself reacting to just listening. Pick a song. Just listening to any song of his for the first time. And then post it, and post a link to that or some such in the chat or something, because those are my favorites, is watching the discovery moments. So
yes, those are fun, because you can never have once you've seen it, you can never have that exact same discovery twice. So it really is fun to watch other people and kind of live that vicariously again through other people.
Encountering Dimash.
But, also following him on his social media, follow him on Instagram. He has other social media, but Instagram is the one he's most active on. Purchase his music. He's on Amazon and iTunes and all that. But also joining the Dimash USA Fan Club to learn about him. We're very knowledgeable. We have a lot of information. We've done a lot of research, and we're very nice people. I think we're all very nice. And one thing that you can do is you can actually request Dimash's music on your favorite local radio stations. And while it's not as common now to just call in, the radio play team has found that there's definitely ways to do that. So if you want more information or help with that, get in touch with the Dimash USA Fan Club to find out how you can do that. The best way to do that is to locate our Facebook page, which again is the primary method we use to connect with people and communicate. But also, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to email us, and I will put the email address in the chat room as well, but it's pretty easy. It's contactusdimashusa@gmail.com. So I'll make sure that you have that in there as well, and the links to follow him. And
I'm doing that now.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get all the links in here. Okay. So bear with me while I do that. But
well, Carissa Lynn, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
For
and
hosting and taking over coffee breaks with Steve. And I've known that this is a passion of yours for a while, but I did not realize how big this was. So I'm really, I feel like I learned a lot, and I'm going to be going and searching some stuff out in follow-up to that. So everybody,
anybody
please thank Dimash USA Fan Club and the members who
appreciate you hosting us. I do want to say, if you posted anything in the chat room that I didn't have a chance to respond to, or if you have questions that were in the chat, I'll make sure to go back through and read that and get you connected with the Dimash USA Fan Club or the right people to answer those questions. But definitely reach out via Facebook and the email. And as always, thank you very much, and go find a way to make my family's
a difference in your world this week, like Dimash would.
Like Dimash would.
Like Dimash would. And join us next week. Next week, we're talking to Kristen Parker Johnson, who is a nutritionist and trainer. And she has a very unique way of approaching holistic nutritional components, etc., like lifestyle changes, major lifestyle changes. And then the week after that, it's the two of us again discussing some very in-depth mental health topics. I hope that sounds really dark, but in a really positive way.
In a good way.
So I hope you'll join us for those. And as always, if you have ideas for topics for Steve or for the usurpers,
or a birthday or anniversary coming up,
please email. Yeah, email. Is it CBWS?
I think it's cbwsteve@gmail.com.
cbwsteve@gmail.com.
We'll get you the correct email for that.
If it's not, we'll post the right one after this.
We'll get to that.
We're great usurpers. Please reach out, let us know, and thank you again for joining us. Make a difference in your world this week. God bless. Have a great day.
Bye.